Welcome to the Computer Repair Podcast, episode number 325, TechCon Unplugged. This is our live show where we discuss the ins and outs of running your computer repair business. I'm joined today by my good friend, Paco Lebron from ProdigyTeks. Paco, how are you doing?
Doing well, Jeff. How are you?
I am doing excellent. So today's show is going to be a little bit different and a little more special because we're going to talk about the event that we're going to put together, or that we have been putting together for over almost the last 7-8 months. Is that about right?
Yep.
Okay. So what we're going to do is, in the beginning of the show, we're going to do I'm killing two birds with one stone. Not that I'm into killing birds, but we want to be able to take a portion of this and add a what is TechCon Unplugged about to our website. And so in order to do that, we figured, hey, why not have a show around it? We're going to do that. We'll have a little commercial up front. And then we're going to go into the portion where we're going to dig down into the weeds a little bit and kind of talk about Paco and myself and our dreams and what we're really passionate about and why we decided to put this event together. So that's really what we're going to talk about today. We've got people in the chat room. Obviously, you can ask questions, and hopefully between the two of us, we can see them. We'll see how that goes. I kind of, it's one of those things where it's like squirrel. Pulls me off track there. So with that, let's go ahead. And Paco, are you ready to do our quote unquote commercial?
Our infomercial? Yep.
All right. So let's go ahead and get this started. TechCon Unplugged. Hi, my name is Jeff Halash, owner of TechNut Computer Repair in Canton, Michigan, and host of the Computer Repair Podcast, along with
Paco Lebron from ProdigyTeks in Chicago, Illinois, and host of Tech Life. And
Paco, what is TechCon Unplugged?
so essentially, TechCon Unplugged, this is a community of IT business owners that want to help each other in learning how to run your day-to-day IT business. I mean, it's pretty much enough said from that.
Very good. And let's talk about real quick, who is this for? And I would say this event is for IT business owners of all shapes and sizes, whether you do consulting, break fix, or managed services, or any hybrid approach thereof.
Yep. And then essentially the big question is, who's putting this event together? Well, nonetheless, yours truly, along with Jeff Halash. But that's not to say that we have not been receiving a lot of great feedback from a lot of key members of the community and the community in general. John Dubinsky, owner of the Maven Group and co-host of the Computer Repair Podcast. Marvin B., owner of MB Systems and host of PodNuts Pro. And of course, not last but not least, Mike Smith, owner at MHS Consulting and host of the Mike Tech Show. And as I mentioned before, with the great community that we all belong to, have all been helping us put this event together.
And I think that is well said. And it's definitely, we want the community to be a part of this. And that's part of why we're putting this event together. So the community is all important to us. Now let's talk about real quick, where is TechCon Unplugged? It's in Holiday Inn, Grand Rapids, Michigan, in a great state where I'm at. Right next to the airport, real easy to get to, actually easy to drive to also.
Yep. And basically, what can you expect out of this event? And essentially, you can learn from and share from other like-minded IT business owners, which is a great opportunity to get with those, rub elbows, shoulder to shoulder. There's going to be practical demonstrations of hardware and software to help you know the things that you want to use in your business and how they work. And then it's going to be an open environment, as I mentioned, where you can ask questions, get answers to take home and use in your business, real action items. They're going to allow you to be able to really get back, be remotivated, and get back into your business. I mean, this is basically, what would you say, Jeff? A one-kind event?
Yes. This is a one-of-a-kind event where you only be able to talk to IT business owners and vendors that are invested in your success. And that's the most important thing, is we are going to bring people to you that you can actually talk to, not be intimidated by, but have a conversation and be able to learn from them, and also be able to take these ideas, like Paco said, back home to your business and be able to utilize those as people like to.
Yep. And for those that really want to help, join the mission, join the journey, join this community that we are building with this first show of ours, get your tickets today by going to techconunplugged.com. Over on the top right-hand corner, click buy tickets. and we look forward to seeing you there.
Excellent. All right. With that out of the way, and hopefully we'll do some fancy editing on there and make a nice, concise message, and hopefully it'll be good for the audience. We want to get some ideas out there, right, Paco, of what it is we're exactly talking about when it talks. There's a lot of conferences out there, right?
Yep.
I mean, we all have been to conferences. We can, probably name 20 or 30 conferences that happen during the year, every year. There's new ones coming all the time. There's popular ones. There's ones that are kind of nichey. And then we're doing another one. Why is that? Other than we're nuts. Other than that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it says it enough. No, I think, which is funny because we've always really wanted to do something like this. We didn't really know what it would become. And, obviously today it's become into this conference that we are going full fledged with, versus kind of the ideas that you and I had almost a year and a half ago, right? And 2 years ago when we wanted to throw this thing. And, why do we want to throw one? I just think that you and I, we've done this for quite some time, and we're all about giving to the community and the audience. And, we thought that, what would be the great way of getting a conference with all of us together, but we have the ability to give what the audience wants. And specifically of all stretches of their IT business. For those that were not getting as much love, which I believe are those that are running their business part-time and trying to figure out how to run it successfully, to those that are trying to make that jump from going from part-time to full-time. And that could range anywhere from break fix to managed services, or going full-time break fix. And then those who have been doing this for so long, but just didn't hear about some of the tools that make things a lot easier, or processes, or just ideas that probably would have been beneficial to them way back when, but now they're just looking to just get a little bit better, see how they can go ahead and just get that new tool, that new skill set that will help make their job a little bit easier as they move along.
And I think that's the most important thing when we're looking at why we've been to different conferences. And if you go to some of the bigger conferences, they're great for their own things, but you feel kind of like lost in this sea of people. And unless you've got your own group that you're kind of hanging with, sometimes it's hard, especially as entrepreneurs. And a lot of us are what I would call introverted. Some of us are outgoing, but most probably technicians, business owners are probably a little more on the introverted side. That's why they hire salespeople and, deal with, tech stuff, or maybe the back paper room stuff. But we really wanted to have an event where everybody felt comfortable. And that's one of the things that we wanted to do, is we want to have it so that it's an interactive event. In other words, you're not just coming in and you're going to sit and listen to people talk. You do that anywhere. Heck, you guys come here every week and listen to me talk, and I still can't figure out why. There's, 2,200 of you, but whatever. So it's like, it's great and everything. But I feel the message that's out there, and when you're actually getting together in the flesh, it's way different than listening to a podcast or watching us on YouTube or any other thing that you do to interact with us via email and so on and so forth. I think the physical interaction of shaking hands, seeing a person eye to eye is very important. And one of the things we really wanted to do is we want to make sure that everybody feels involved and you can talk to anybody. We're going to have people there that, quite honestly, they're single business owners. They're one-man shows making over $100,000 a year. That's not, and I know these people personally. Then there's others that have employees and they're making really good money. And then there's people that are starting out. They're just getting started in this business. And we want to make sure that you're not just thrown to the wolves. We want to make sure that you're taken care of. And hey, listen, I know everything is shiny and new, and vendors want you to buy everything that's going to make your life a whole lot easier. Just remember, everything you buy, you have to train, you have to learn, And so there's a lot of that information that kind of gets lost in this sell, sell, sell. So I think what we're trying to do is something a little bit different, is being more interactive and having it where the vendors are basically coming alongside of our community members and working with them. So it's not just a sales pitch to go, hey, buy my product. We want to know, hey, what does the product do? And how can it save me time and money in my business? Is it worth it at the stage of the game that I'm at now? If I'm just starting off, maybe it's not worth it to buy some of these tools, but brand recognition, I get the information out there. And when I'm ready, I can jump into those tools and grab them and build my business and make it bigger over time.
Right. And the biggest piece about this is what we're trying to do is we're trying to replicate a environment or a journey that, I go ahead and similar went to do this. And basically, how I went through this journey with Podnuts was a matter of finding forms, how to run my break fix, and then moving forward on getting to where I am now. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to replicate the ability of how to go from that spot to spot with the vendors that we've vetted on the community. So in this community and in this and on Computer Repair Podcast, on Tech Life, on Podnuts Pro, all my tech show, all of these shows have talked about tools, vendors, people that will be done. And specifically what Jeff and I have done is we've brought a lot of partners on the show, first off, to introduce them to the community so that way our community can look and see what they're about. They can talk about their services and be a transparent window where if they want to have the ability to work with us and they want to be able to kind of gauge us, what are the best way? And that's what we are trying to replicate. And that's why we were very careful on vetting who we wanted to come to the show, because exactly like what you mentioned, what we want to try and do is we want to have those come to the show that are willing to buy into your success. And in reverse, you are willing to buy into their success so that you both can grow. That's why we have vendors like Freedom Voice. That's why we have got several other of those that have proven to our audience and community that they're in and they're willing to help those gain and really increase their, bottom line in this case, to help. And that's just one example of what we're trying to do here is introduce these vendors to allow, and the reason why I call them partners, which is a different term used in our industry, is because we're not trying to provide a vendor driven show. We are giving a show that is going to have these partners alongside some of these community members that had gained success with them and speak to the audience so that they can gain that knowledge from what's being from there, as if they were on a CRP show. But now you have the ability at a low cost entry, not only to be able to work with these partners, but also gain the ability to work with the partners personally and engage with them intimately so that way you may not have had that opportunity before. And that's what we're trying to do by opening that door.
And I think there's a lot of people out there that will sometimes look at the vendors that we have started to put on the website. And we probably have some that are coming here shortly that'll be up on the website here soon, that are what they would call bigger fish in the small pond, I guess. And the reality is, what we found is that inside these companies, you will find individuals that are really interested in everybody from the beginning all the way through their journey in this IT universe. And they're really interested in the grassroots, getting down and giving back to the communities. That's what we do. That's what we're looking for. Now, some of these companies are bigger, and some people might go, well, you know what? How is this going to relate to me and my little business when I can't afford their product or service? Or at this time, I have no need for that product and service. You got to understand that you might not have a need now, you might have a need later. And for a lot of these companies, again, brand recognition, getting it out there. When you talk about things like Kleenex, well, there is no such thing. Actually, Kleenex is a brand name. It's actually a facial tissue, is what you're actually talking about. But what does everybody say? Give me a Kleenex. Why? Brand recognition. So See, I'm not dead set against marketing. I understand the marketing, the marketing machine, but at the same time, there's practical things that not only myself but Paco and I both believe we can bring and meld these two universes together, our partners, our community, and be able to help them be better on both sides. Because here's the thing, when when you get in front of these partners and you're telling them about, hey, I wish you guys would do this, or this, a lot of them, not all, but a lot of them will actually take that to heart, take it back home and go, hey, maybe this is something we need to look at. Those are the partners that we're interested in, right? Not just the ones that are going, hey, we're just going to do whatever because, we can. And you might find some of those at some point, but that's not what we're looking for. And that's not what we're trying to vet people as best as possible to get them to this conference so that they can be a value add and not a drain on the audience listening to sales pitch after sales pitch after sales pitch.
Yep.
So Paco, let's talk real quick about right now who we have on a website. We have Malwarebytes, and they have been into several of the conferences that we have been a part of in the past. We also have Freedom Voice, excellent VoIP service. Just love working with them. Real simple. They are interested in getting you into their service, no matter how small you are. You can even take a person like Marvin B, and who's dead set against selling VoIP, and he started selling VoIP. So,
Yep.
That's a good thing. We also have Compliancy Group, which was actually kind of threw us a little bit because they were interested right off the bat after they came on the show and had a great time sharing about compliancy and how to be compliant in this day and age. And they said, hey, we want to be a part of this. And we felt you could have asked me a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, I would have said compliance, whatever. I'm not dealing with that crap. Somebody else can do it. But here's the thing, compliance is really a lot of common sense that you should be doing anyway. So even if you're not in the business of being compliant through HIPAA, FINRA, all these other acronyms, it doesn't really matter because you're going to need to make sure that you're going to take care of your customers as best you can. And part of the common sense of compliance is doing the right thing. And so I think from both sides of the fence, whether you're supporting doctors' offices, et cetera, doesn't really matter. Both sides can learn and learn the things that they should be doing. So that was good.
And, in Compliancy Group is a vendor where somebody who may run a small shop may believe that maybe it's not for them. And they're a good example of you don't know what you don't know. And it's a great opportunity to hear what they have to say. And maybe you thought that it could be X amount of dollars to enroll in their services, and you find out that it's actually something marketable, tangible, that you can get some revenue off of, that you can bring into your portfolio. Then on the other side, you at least know that they're there. So when you get to that point, X amount of years down the line, and maybe you do decide that you're going to scale, you have them in your back pocket because you've been introduced to them. They've heard from you. They've been on the show, and things have been great. This is one of those where it's the opportunity of knowing who's there. And if they're not right for you, that's why we have plenty of great vendors there, being able to just hear and present themselves on what they're able to do. And it's up to the audience because we want to present these options and choices to you.
Very good. And also, so we have people like the Executive Marketing Collective with Liz Vanover, and she's going to talk all about the marketing and aspects that she deals with for the IT business owner. And we feel that that's important for people to understand what they can do from a marketing, or even she does even the PR side. And so both of them are very important perspectives.
Yep. And as everyone know, I can't say as much great things about the great Elizabeth Vanover for those that have been introduced to her in the community. She has done wonders for our business here, and, really excited to see what she's going to bring to the convention. As, she's that type of person that she thinks big, go big or go home. right? And you want that type of person to be able to really be in your corner for your business. And I can't say not enough great things about what she can do for a lot of the businesses. So I'm really stoked on what she's going to talk about at the convention on really what to do for marketing on that avenue.
And we also have Tech Site Builder, our good friend Matthew Rodella, who has been making basically websites for the IT business. I mean, would you say Paco is probably the easiest website to put together, bar none? I know you and I both put together HTML static pages way back in the day, and that just sucks.
Yep, agreed. I think that with Tech Site Builder, so as everyone knows, Tech Site Builder kind of went through so many variations and ownerships. And once Matt took it under his own wing and made it his own, it's a great product. I know that at the time I was working on some different other platforms that, are click and drag and things that are good to go. But the difference between Matt's, Tech Site Builder, along with everyone else who hasn't tried them or is on them right now, is you can see a lot of that boost on the simplicity of his designs and also what you can do to modify and make it your own. You don't have to have it turnkey how he has it set for you, which you can literally have a website up and running in an hour. But there's so many more things you can do with a lot of the features that he has available for that. It's one of those where, for those that are trying to figure out a good solution, Tech Site Builder and along with his concierge services are great on what he has to offer for a lot of the community. And it's been a great tool for us when we got started with our break fix and then transition to our MSP / managed services business that we are now.
And I'll tell you right now, going from a regular WordPress page that I had for years after I got away from the HTML static page, when I went to Tech Site Builder, it was one of those things where Tech Site Builder was the SEO on it, just the natural organic SEO, not playing the system, not gaming the system. It boosted me right up to the top in my area of 90 some odd thousand people. And I don't even know how many businesses are in the area, but I still come up under organic search in my area, 2 or 3. So that speaks volumes for itself. Anyways, Matt's going to have a great message that he's going to talk about for that day, and we're going to have a great time listening to him. And another one is Untangle.
Yep.
Untangle is a newer partner that obviously they were on the show. I don't know how many weeks ago, but earlier this year they were on the show, and they were a hoot to hang with, and just had a great time with them. Obviously, you guys will see they advertise on the show, and they're going to provide us some. What are they providing us?
So right now, Untangle is some of the partners here that will try to be present for the show, but those that can't, they found the value in our community so much that they wanted to do something for us, right? And that's who we wanted as our partners, is to bring someone who is willing to give that opportunity for our clients or for our audience and make sure that they can implement their solution. So in this case, Untangle, which is basically a next-gen firewall solution, they're actually going to be working on some deals that are going to be given to the audience. Specifically, it's going to be a percentage off of the annual subscription. And we are in works working with the reseller agreement. Right now, it's $199 to sign up for the reseller agreement. We're in works right now that there's a possibility we can get that going for you at a lower price, but that's still in the works. But Untangle is going to be coming with a discount to their services for those that want to join on the Untangle machine and really work on having that. If you're looking to get into firewalls, Untangle is going to be a great opportunity and option to go in. And the great thing about Untangle is that they do have a free version of their firewall software. It's not all the bells and whistles and everything that you should run in a small business, but it's your ability to get used to how a firewall will work and have the ability to work with their platform as well.
And before we move on, let me just give a little caveat. All these are subject to change, but most of these are solidified. We just, things might change down the road. I know we're only a few months out here. Just to let everybody know, obviously most things are, signed contracts and all that kind of stuff. Some are not. So, but just to be open and honest, because that's what we want to do. We want to let people know where we're at in what we're doing. But the bottom line is we're going to bat for you. We're trying to make it so that we're getting these great deals, because we're going to bring business owners, you guys that are interested in at least trialing these products, checking them out, seeing them firsthand, maybe getting a little, quick demo here or there, and understanding a little bit more of what you can do in your business. A lot of things, people look at different things and they look at things as complicated in their business. And we've always tried to come across as, listen, John Dubinsky says it all the time. The one thing he knows for sure is he doesn't know everything. There's things that people run into all the time. You're like, hey, how do I fix this? And it's nice to have that community where you can ask somebody a question and they go, hey, when I ran into that problem, here's what I did to fix it. Oh, okay. And once you do it once, you go, oh, okay, I got it now. So when it happens again, guess what? Now you're the expert passing on that information. That's what we're trying to do. So we don't want to be the know-it-alls and all that, but we want to pass on information so that the information can be passed on again and again and again. And again, everybody gets helped that way. All right. One of the other ones is Snap AV. And we talk about the great Arachnus switches, routers, APs, everything. They're just, I like the equipment. Other people are using other things, and that's fine. But they have always been invested in the community. We met them, like, I don't know, 4 years ago or something like that at CompTIA. And they've been great partners and real helpful. I have their equipment in my own network here. I also have the equipment, to the clientele that I have. It's just easy to work with. I like what it can do. And so we're also going to be able to see a demonstration of how the Arachnus equipment works, also with Marvin B., who's what I would call our network expert, because he knows networks inside and out. And he's going to do a demonstration and help out with that. And also, show you how to diagnose different things when you're walking into a network. We think that's important because a lot of times you're walking in and, man, you're like going, okay, where do I start? And when you're brand new, man, it's like you either learn by hard knocks or you learn by somebody else's hard knocks. What do they say? The greatest teacher is or I can't remember how it goes. Anyways,
Yeah,
you learn by other. It's better to learn by other people's experiences than your own. You're gonna learn one way or the other, but if you can use somebody else's experiences, that'll help you go that much farther. And again, that's why we're here.
Yeah, I think the biggest piece, like you said, especially with Snap AV and kind of the involvement, is everyone has their preference. I personally use Snap AV and all the Arachnus gear in my own network. Great partners. They have a cloud solution with Overseer that allows us to kind of manage the network as well. And, all in all, they've just been great partners, and they're going to be at the show, as Jeff mentioned, and really give a more deep dive on how their products are doing, especially a lot of the newer equipment that they have just recently released, and a lot of subject matter experts just to figure out kind of how this network can be introduced to your end client.
And also we have another newcomer, which was a pleasant surprise, and that is Clean Browsing. And Paco again came on the show, talked about what they were, what their product did, and they wanted to be invested in the community, and we wanted them to be invested in the community because we believe in those types of products. And you're going to see a lot of like products, I guess.
Yeah.
Because there's many, many different products out there, and that's okay, because like Paco said earlier, everybody has their preference, and that's okay. The one thing we never want to get into is this is the best product because, no, what we're going to say is this product fits me at this point in my business and makes sense to me, and that's why I'm going to use this product.
Yep.
And you've got to try different things out to figure out which product that's going to be for you.
Yep. And that really grinds my gears too when I just hear, oh, this is the best solution. You got to rip whatever that is out and put this in. No, it's purely preference. You didn't have a good experience. that should in no way hinder someone else looking at a solution unless there is a huge input to say that that solution is not what it should be. But one person's opinion should not be fact as far as what that can be. And I have seen that a couple times on that route. But yeah, like clean browsing, they're going to try to be at the show. But what they provided us was basically going to be half off their subscription of their top tier to our audience. And they're going to basically be able to have that provided and give that over to a lot of our clients that are trying to get into DNS filtering, right? And I also use their service as well, all disclaimers, and it works great for a lot of the stuff that I do. So really appreciate him coming on board and passing that over to our audience should they decide that they want to use that solution.
And don't tell them I said this, but their price point, to be honest with you, even for their top tier, is like really cheap. So them giving us a discount is really a great blessing, and we're so glad that we're able to pull that together. And again, that's the community coming together as a group where we're committed to them and they're committed to us, and it's a symbiotic relationship. Spider-Man reference. And so it's nice to have that where you can have that that nice relationship between your partners and your the community of IT business owners. So we're excited about that. We also have FreshBooks, who is I believe they're sponsoring a meal, one of the meals. Is that right, Paco?
Yep, that is correct.
Okay. And also Magnus Box, which is a newer backup solution from our good friend Mike Sladowski, who is actually also going to attend the event, and he also sponsored a meal too. So that'll be cool to have him and see what he's doing. He's got a great product that a lot of people in the community are starting to use, and they're loving it. It's working for their partners, and so they're happy, and hopefully we can learn more about that.
Yep.
So Paco, when we're talking about conventions, and it's always everybody likes free. Let's just say everybody likes free. We all like free things. I get it. I'm the same way. I like free things.
If it's free, it's for me.
There you go. So, but one of the things that we talk about when you are in business for yourself is investing in yourself. See, I was always, let me give you a little story. So I grew up in an era that if I wanted to drive a car, I actually had to pay for the car. I know. It's so weird. But I had to pay for the car. Not only that, I remember my dad took me to a Murray's and he said, yeah, he goes, get that Chilton's manual for your car. Because if something breaks on it, you've got one of two choices. You either look in there and figure out how to fix it, or you take it to a mechanic and pay a lot of money to have it fixed. And then both those scenarios might happen. Some things you can't do, some things you can. And so that was basically my Bible for my car. Yeah, it's what if I wanted to drive, my car broke down. I had to fix it. Oh, I had to pay to fix it. I had to buy the parts. I had to put it I know it's so weird nowadays, but I'm so old. But it's one of those things that to me, I had a 1978 Volkswagen Rabbit. It was a light blue. The guy I bought it from, I think I paid $350 for it. And you remember these prices because when you don't have a lot of money, you remember exactly what you paid for crap because it was like, that's all you had. And so I'd saved up my money. I'd paid for it. It was a light blue color, but where the rust started to come through, the guy would take whatever color spray paint he had at the time, and he would just color over the rust. So there was all these different things and, all these different paint spots and stuff on the car. No big deal. So I, in my infinite wisdom, decided to, hey, you know what? The paint on this car is not real great. And I can't even afford to go to Earl Shy and, have them painted or whatever. And so I went and bought exterior house paint and actually painted this with a paintbrush, painted the whole car, painted the rims, which were steel, took a coat hanger because the antenna was broken. I basically mounted a antenna in, and I painted the antenna too. And you know what? It worked for the radio. But you know what? Here's the thing. I bought seat covers for the car. I would wax that car and wash it all the time. My car was immaculate for what it was. But because I invested into that, I wanted to take care of it. I didn't want any more rust showing up. I wanted my car to look as nice as it could for the piece of junk that it was. But here's the other thing too. So I took care of it. Actually, what's funny is it was a 4-speed. Never driven a stick in my life. Learned how to drive it. Another funny story. I'm just going down memory lane now. My dad was going to teach me how to drive a stick. We pulled out of my driveway, got down to the end of the street, and I'm going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Get to the stop sign. My dad goes, turn around. So I turned around, went back in the driveway. He gets out of the car, slams the door. He goes, you're on your own. So that was my look. So you know what I did? I backed out of the driveway, went down the street, picked my buddy up. I'm going to learn how to drive this car. And I taught every one of my friends how to drive a stick after I learned how to drive a stick. But the point is I was invested into that automobile. So I took care of it. And so I feel the same way today, that if you're going to have a business, you want to invest in yourself. You want to invest in your education, and not everything can be free. So what we've tried to do for this is we've really tried to make a low cost conference that you'll find it hard to beat the price, I would imagine. Paco, would you agree with that?
Right. Yeah. I think what we wanted to do was, when we set the price for this, is we wanted those who invested in buying a ticket, being an all-inclusive event, meaning your meals are covered, the experience is covered. Only thing you got to worry about is transportation to the hotel, which we've tried to make it as easy as possible with some of the partnerships we had with United, the shuttle, driving in, free parking, and staying at the hotel, trying to get as low as a room night as possible at $102 a night for a regular room. And our thought was this, where if you invest in that money, which a lot of people, that may be a lot of money, for some that may be, just right. And there'll be some that won't blink at an eye to spend that to have a great experience. But that's just that. Like, what we tried to do is make that experience where you make this investment and you get way more than what you paid for. And you got to the point where you get to the end of this event and you decide, man, I'm remotivated. I'm ready to go. I'm on my way to go to the next year's event, ready to go for my next move on my business. I'm going to apply these tools that I was able to get at this show, because it was right at my price point, and really provide value to their customers, and in turn help their business grow. And that's really what we tried to do with this conference, is being able to really provide that inclusive, as low as possible entry for those to get in, so that they can benefit their business.
And we struggled with charging $199, but here's why we did that. We charge $199 because in a lot of people, the reason they don't have events in hotels is because when you have an event in a hotel, the catering it's out there. And they only have one company, and you got to pay whatever it is that they charge. So what we wanted to do is, at $199 a pop, we thought we might eat a little bit, or it was kind of at the break even point where we would be able to cover all the food for Friday night, Saturday breakfast, Saturday lunch, Saturday night at Dave and Buster's, Sunday breakfast, and Sunday lunch. And so when we first started, we figured if we had 0 vendors that wanted to invest in us, then we'd be okay. We could still throw this event. We could still get the community involvement. We could still get the the talks from the stage, learn from people in the community, have great conversations, and learn from each other no matter what. So really, when the vendors came on board, this was a blessing in disguise because now we've got even more that we can share with you. And that's one of the things that a lot of people will talk about. We've heard at different events is they want to see vendors. Now, do they want to see 130 vendors? I don't think so because I think a lot of people just get lost in the shuffle. But to have a handful of vendors, I don't know, 8 to 12 vendors that are invested in a community that are there to help you, we thought that that would be beneficial. And most people have agreed with us yeah, they want to see so and so from XYZ company, and that would maybe help them benefit them in their business, or at least they could learn something from them.
Yep. No, I couldn't have said it better than myself.
Very good. So, Paco, other than obviously, we've talked about some of the people that are going to be there, and we've got a great lineup. If you want to go to TechConUnplugged.com, you can see the lineup there. You got Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. Some of these things might change because there's most of the titles that are there are right. I'm just moving some stuff around on the webpage, and stuff takes a while to do sometimes. So I will get around to doing that. But most of the stuff that you see there is going to be a part of this event. And we've already got some great lineups as far as people in our community to do some of the panels and stuff like that to talk about things that people are interested in their business. And so, do you want to go over any of that, Paco?
Yeah, I mean, I think the agenda kind of speaks to itself on what we're trying to plan on doing and trying to keep everybody together on those days. What we really want is, for during those times and we're done, we don't want everyone to feel like, okay, it's time to go to the room, or hey, where's the after party? Where we're at, we can stay there until they kick us out, and that's going to be pretty late when we end up from there, and especially after we leave and go to the Saturday night social at Dave and Buster's, which is going to be a great time as well. But one person that we kind of left out, which was on some of the speakers there, which I don't believe we talked about, Tim Conko. And
We did not. Thank you.
So Tim Conko, who will be our featured speaker, and we've been hearing a lot of feedback from the community on how great, and why would Tim come to this conference to speak. And, personally myself, I've actually been a fan of Tim for probably Texas Tim is what he went by, or still goes by now. For those that have seen him recently, they probably know him as the CEO of the 20. But when I followed him 5 years ago, he was actually the head of Roland MSP, or Roland Technology MSP. Roland Technology Group, which is a MSP, managed service provider out in Texas. And, he was a one-man shop. He had this program that, he had this idea that he wanted to scale. He wanted to be bigger than what he was at the time. And he got into some communities and that I saw on YouTube and on some of the platforms that he had. He had a Google ad campaign program that he developed himself from investing in all these marketing companies, and they basically not giving him the results that he wanted. So he did it himself. And through some relationships and community, kind of what we're doing here, grew to where he's at now, and being able to go through the life stories of trenches. And it's a big part, at least for me, because for those who know the episode, I believe it was 518 maybe of Tech Life, I provided that transparency as far as what happened my first year as being full-time as a managed service provider / IT business owner. And Tim really you can see how he did that transition. So what he's going to do for us is really help motivate us and really talk about his life in the trenches as an IT business owner, because he is just like us. Although maybe he is, yes, much bigger now, and he has this other business as well, trying to help replicate that for other IT businesses. He himself, being the just humble, down to earth, same mission as our community of just wanting to help everyone, is really going to have the ability to kind of talk to us and really talk about what he went through as a managed service provider, as an IT business owner, and how he got to where he is today. And make no mistake about it, as we talked about this show, all of our partners here are ready to speak about how they can help you. This is not a sell, pitch, whatever they're affiliated with. It's going to be, jammed down your throats. Like, these are genuine people, genuine partners who want to buy in to your business. And I'm really proud and really glad and grateful that Tim is willing to lend his expertise and his experience to us and really just talk about his story on how he became where he is with his own IT business.
And that is well said, because a lot of people will listen to our shows, Mike Smith, this show, Paco, your show, Marvin show. And so they will listen to these shows because they want to hear the stories. They want to hear that other people are going through the same things that they're going through. Because a lot of times you're out there by yourself and you don't think anybody is going through or having the same problems you're having. We've all been there, done that. It might be a little bit different from one person to another, but eventually everybody kind of goes through the same process, and that's just kind of the way it works. So it's nice to have a person that can sit there and talk about their story. And the other thing too is we never want to, because in today's day and age, everybody wants to move from break fix to MSP, but everybody will tell you that they're absolutely 100% a hybrid. So it's like, whatever. We can call each other what we want. I don't really care. You've seen Paco earlier. He was, naming a company, had to put MSP on it, and it got all fumbled up. And it's like, whatever. That's why we keep things simple, people. Keep it simple. But you want to have those people out there that are going to be able to talk to you at whatever level you're at, because they came up through that process. And we're going to have people not only like Tim Conkle, but we have people that have had employees and went back to doing it themselves. Because here's the thing that not everybody likes to talk about. There's pros and cons to having employees. It's not for everybody. And so maybe you want to do something like a John Dubinsky, who basically works on his own, has his wife do his paperwork and helps him, plan stuff and all that kind of stuff. That's what he does. And he's in it day to day. He's in the trenches doing his business, and he's perfectly happy doing it that way. He had employees, doesn't want to go back. Yes, there are things that you don't want to deal with as a one person shop either, but at the same time, again, there's always going to be pros and cons to doing business many different ways. And that's what we want to make sure, that you're going to get enough information from enough different people that are doing it differently, where they go, listen, you got to use this cookie cutter approach. And this is the only way you can grow your business. And by the way, buy my $1,000 product and you'll be a millionaire next year. That's not what we're doing. That's not who we are. That's not why we're doing this. And let's be honest, Paco, we started this thing up. We thought it'd be fun.
Yeah, we thought it would be fun.
We said, yeah, have a conference. Yeah, let's have a conference. Oh, yeah. And so there's a lot of things that go on in the background. There's different things that you have to talk to certain people about. And just, everybody's got differences of opinions. And so, that there's a lot of alpha males, probably alpha females too,
Type
that
A.
want to put, type A personality. Thank you. Politically correct, Paco Lebron. And so,
Okay.
but so you've got these personalities that are strong personalities that have ideas about how they want things. And my thought process is, I believe I have a lot of good ideas, but I don't think my ideas are always the best ideas for every situation. In other words, I will mention my ideas, and then Paco will say, well, what about this? Or John will say, what about that? Or Mike Smith or Marvin will come up and say, what about this, that, or the other? And then even if there's 5 different opinions, somebody's got to bring this together and say, okay, here's how we're going to do it this time, because this is what makes sense with the resources we have, with the abilities we have at this point. This is how we're going to do it. This is what makes sense to us at this point. And so it's nice to have all the different sounding, voices But at the same time, sometimes you get this kind of get a little argumentative to a certain extent, and that's the way business is, right? Anything that you do, like I said, work, church, business would be great if it wasn't for the people. Let's just be honest. It is what it is. So, but we like having the community involved in, like we said earlier, we have people that are coming up and they're going to be alongside the vendors, our vendor partners that are going to be there. They're going to be alongside them and guiding them and bringing more value add than just letting them kind of get up there and go on their own sales pitch and do whatever. Because that, again, if everybody just wanted a sales pitch, you could probably go to the website and look it up or whatever, and that'd be fine.
Yep. I think just to bring it home, essentially, it's just that, with this show, there is always room for feedback. There is always room for the commentary. So we are doing the show that we believe is going to be a great show for everyone in the community. Once we're done, we may learn some things along the way. And that's what's great about this community is that we have the ability to adjust, and if we need be, because not everything's going to be perfect. Not everything's going to be exactly how everybody wants. But I will say that our overall mission of enhancing and making sure this experience is great for everyone, no matter where you are on that spectrum, that's what we're trying to aim for today. And that's what we're trying to aim for September 20th to the 22nd.
I couldn't have said it better myself, my friend. I think with that, I think we'll leave off on that. I think we've explained ourselves plenty to this point, and you guys get our hearts and our passion and what we're trying to accomplish here. And we believe that if you come to this event, you will be changed. And it's inevitable. Unless you like go stand in a corner or something, you will have a life-changing experience because you're going to see things that you haven't seen before. You're going to talk to people you haven't talked to before. You're going to get that interaction that you don't get on a regular basis, because let's face it, none of our spouses care what we talk about when it comes to technology. And so it's nice to have those people that you can kind of talk to and reminisce with and learn some things from. So I think it's going to be a great event regardless of who's there. It's going to be a great event, and it'll be fun. So plus it'll be a time away from your business, a time where you can collect your thoughts and move forward with some ideas that you come away with.
You can even say unplug, if you will.
There you go. It just real quick. So TechCon Unplugged, we kind of looked at, obviously I'm an old curmudgeon when it comes to this. I still try to get the .com name right. So .com's just, yeah, it's where it's at. I'm sorry. All the other ones that use all the rest of that, yeah, whatever. So we we were talking about it, and Paco, go ahead and tell the story of where we came up with the name TechCon Unplugged.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think what we originally thought of was we wanted a conference that was going to deal with specifically tech, because there were so many names that had nothing to do with IT or conference or IT services, IT businesses. So Jeff said, TechCon, that's simple enough. I said, okay, cool. And then, there's always been this inside joke in the community that, Jeff is always quote unquote filtered on the Computer Repair podcast, so that we always would tell him that he needs to come out with his own show called Jeff Unplugged. So somehow we just thought, you know what, it would be really cool because this show will basically have the personalities of every business owner, and these, us two crazies trying to go ahead and pull this off and throw this conference. Why not TechCon Unplugged? The most unfiltered, unrelenting conference to help benefit those that are in need for their business. And that's kind of what brought the name about.
Very good. And for those that don't know, a lot of times when I go on a rant on the show, either Paco or John will send me a wonderful GIF. And Paco, where's that GIF from?
Say that one more time.
Where's the GIF from that you normally send me when I go on a rant?
So there's this Simpson GIF that I always send him of Grandpa Simpson that will always go ahead and tell Homer Simpson that all he does is B, which I can't swear because I don't want door on me, but that's kind of what it is.
Yep, exactly. So Hey, we all do what we do.
Yep.
Mike from Clockwork. What's the name of his business? Clockwork?
Clockwork Systems, I think.
Something like that. All right.
What is Liz?
Anyways,
We're gonna go.
he says, what is Liz Vanover going to be speaking to at the conference?
When we post this video, you'll see, because I answered that question 20, 30 minutes ago. On the website, Mike.
What is hers?
I think it's 10.
What is your brand and how can you drive business? 10 tips and tricks.
Yep. There
So you can check that out. Yeah. Again, all that stuff is on there. It also tells on the agenda, it tells who's going to be speaking to it. Just go to TechConUnplugged.com and you can check out all that information there.
Yep.
All right. I think with that, Paco, where can people find you? Your lovely mug at nowadays?
You'll find me over at Tech Life when I record a show, when I get the chance to. It's been super busy with a lot of life changes going on over here. So we're going to hopefully get that back on track here shortly. Or you'll be able to find me over at TechCon Unplugged, September 20th to the 22nd.
Awesome, man. Come join us live for the Computer Repair Podcast every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern over at podnuts.com/CRP Live. Join in on the conversation by hanging out in the chat room. We get a lot of interaction there week to week. You can also send an email to podnuts@podnuts.com or leave a voicemail at 734-335-1000. And not only do we read those on the show and answer those in a somewhat timely manner, we'll also play the voicemails and answer those questions via that way too. I want to thank everyone for listening and subscribing to the show. We'll see you next time on the Computer Repair Podcast.